Hey guys, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you guys are listening, subscribing and commenting. I appreciate the support. And of course, if you want to support me further, you can go to my Ko-fi link, kofi.com/boomshikha, and give me a one-off donation. I really like doing videos outside, so I've been missing it, and recently a couple of viewers told me that it would be nice if I did more videos outside, so I was like, alright, cool, let's do this. So I hope the noise isn't too much. There's always scooters and stuff in the background, so just ignore them, hopefully. In this video, I wanted to speak to you guys about a concept that you probably are very familiar with. It's a very easy concept now. It wasn't so common in our parents' time or in our grandparents' time, perhaps, but nowadays it's become as synonymous as the Kardashians. Like, everyone knows about this concept, I think, or that's what I believe. And the concept is about the fact that thoughts create your reality. If you are an INFJ at all and you're interested in quantum physics or quantum entanglement or anything related to quantum, then you're probably fascinated by this topic as well. And so you're probably listening in and like, just gonna adjust it a bit. Okay. And you're probably thinking that, yeah, you know, I've heard of this topic and I believe in it, or I don't believe in it, or whatever it might be. The reason I wanted to do this video is because I just wanted to share my own thoughts on it. I have been thinking about this subject for almost 12 years now. Not that I've been getting any further with it, but I have certain belief systems on how this works and what I think, how it works in my life. Of course, different people deal with it differently. But I've noticed that there's some things that are important to me that I wanted to share with you guys, and it came up in a previous video somehow, and this individual asked me, a viewer asked me, you know, what are your thoughts on it? I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good topic to talk about, because I love talking about this stuff. I could talk about it forever, so let's do it, right? Now, of course, there's a lot involved in it. You know, if you look at the observer effect, our consciousness in general, consciousness, where does it exist? I've done a video on that as well previously. But the reality is that everything that is in our existence right now, you know, what I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing this camera, this iPhone, and I'm looking at trees all around me, and I live in Chiang Mai. This is my reality right now. It could be somewhere else. I could have lived in Toronto all my life, but that was not my reality because I created this reality right now, and I'm here in this moment in time right now, right? So the basic idea is that everything that you're thinking, every thought that you have has a certain energy pattern, a certain vibration to it. And you've probably heard of the stat that perhaps 90% of our thoughts, so if we have 50,000 thoughts a day, 40,000 of them are negative and 10,000 are positive in some shape or form, which means that we're having a lot of negative thoughts, and a lot of our creation, a lot of our existence is being created by negative thoughts. So the fact that perhaps you always end up in relationships that are abusive, I'm not saying that's necessarily your fault, but a lot of it is that we're attracted to the same kind of people. And even if we know and we see all these red flags and we're like, oh, I don't know about this, still we're like, no, it should be fine. I can fix him. I can deal with it. I've done this before. So a lot of times what happens is that, you know, our thoughts, and now I'm not saying that all of it is your fault. Now, I don't want to get into discussion of, you know, what's going on in Sudan or what's going on in Darfur or what's going on in Afghanistan. Is that their fault? They created it. Let's not get into that. We're just talking about people right now who are in the developed world, people like us who, not developed world, but people like us who are reasonably wealthy or have enough money to take care of their needs, who have shelter, who have food, who have an internet connection, and who don't have to worry about the fact that, you know, someone's going to come into their house and rape them, or someone's going to come into their house and take them away and put them into military confinement, things like that. So, right, I'm talking about our kind of people, this kind of stuff. So let's forget about that for a second, about the fact that there's a lot of people suffering on this planet that are perhaps suffering for the wrong reasons. But for us, you know, individuals like us, commoners, if you want to call it, muggles, the fact is that a lot of the stuff that's happening in our life is our own fault. And I've told you this a lot of times before, but taking responsibility back upon your own shoulders for everything that's happening in your life. Yes, your parents were crappy, perhaps, and they treated you poorly, and you had a crappy, I shouldn't use that word, a terrible childhood, sorry. A terrible childhood, and, you know, you had a really hard time. But now you're an adult, hopefully. I think a lot of you guys are older than 21, and you have possibility of controlling your life. You can't step away from your abusive, crazy family. You can't create your own existence. You can create your own reality. And that's something that is completely under our control. What is under our control? Our thoughts. Now, of course, it's a little bit difficult to move from thinking 40,000 negative thoughts a day to thinking less than that. But it takes obviously time, but it also takes effort. But it is possible. People have done it. One of the techniques that I've shared with you guys in the past is the elastic band technique. You have an elastic band on your hand, and every single time you have a negative thought about yourself or about your life, you snap it. And that kind of creates a connection between pain and a negative thought, and eventually you'll notice that you'll have less of them. So I've tried that in the past. It works really well. If you want to go watch that video, it's in my archives, so go check out elastic band technique. It'll come up. But there's a lot of other ways as well, and one of the main things is meditation, and I am a major proponent of it. I talk to you guys about it more than I talk about anything else, and I'm always telling you guys one of the main ways to improve your life is meditation. Not because of the fact that it's a stress reliever, which it is, not because of the fact that it helps you become more healthy, which it does, but the fact that it helps you control or become aware of all of those negative thoughts in your head, all those stories that you tell yourself. And the moment you become aware of them, that's the moment of change. You become aware of it and you're able to stop, perhaps, or catch yourself every single time you have that negative thought. For example, a very simple example is spending money. I've done videos on this where INFJs have a hard time spending money on themselves. And one of the things I've been trying really hard this year is to allow myself to spend money on myself. It's okay. It's not a terrible thing. It's not the end of the world. But even now, when I am buying something nice for myself, whatever it might be something small, just like a really nice pen for $1 or $2. But I'm like, oh, this is a really nice pen. I love pens. I'm obsessed with stationery, but pens particularly, and notebooks. But I'll be looking at the pen. It's only $2 or whatever it might be, and I'll be thinking to myself, but do I really deserve this? Should I really buy it? I already have a lot of pens at home, which is not really true. I have 5 or 6 pens at home, which is maybe enough. But the reality of it is that I always have a negative thought in that regard. And nowadays I've been catching myself and saying, okay, stop it. Stop having these negative thoughts. They're not useful thoughts. What's the point of thinking about how many pens you have back home? Or if you want a pen, which is $2, just get it, for God's sake, right? Stop wasting your brain power on such useless questions. And so now I'm becoming more aware of it and stopping myself when that madness happens, and then be like, all right, cool, let's get over this. Let's buy the pen. Let's move on with our lives. Let's move on to the more important questions in life, like what am I going to have for dinner? No, I'm just kidding. But really, that is an important question, right? So that's something that happens as you meditate more and more. You become more conscious of all of these stories in your head. It's going to be actually fascinating for you if you are a beginner meditator, because even now, I've been meditating for 12 years now, not consistently, but pretty much. And I noticed that like a thought will pop up in my head and I'll catch it. It's like I'm fishing for it or something. And I'll catch it in my net and I'll be like, wow, I didn't even know that I was thinking this particular thought. I didn't even know that I was still thinking this particular thought. I thought I was over it. I thought that I didn't actually think this way anymore. Of course I did. It's terrible. So anyway, so that is the point of it all. Remember very clearly that your thoughts create your reality. And so what are the thoughts that are going on in your head right now? And I'm sure you have hundreds and thousands of them, and it's not really possible to really think about everything. But there are some major ones that probably pop up over and over again, and that's the way we live our lives. There's some thoughts that come up over and over and over and over again during your day. It might be something like, I'm so tired, or it might be like, I hate people, if you're not INFJ, or it might be something like, oh my God, I need to get back into my cave. Some thoughts just are like constantly there and are a daily kind of occurrence in your lifestyle, probably. And so those are the thoughts that we really need to catch. Those one-off thoughts that come up randomly are not that important, at least in the beginning. But right now, just try to observe yourself and think about, okay, what do I think about on a daily basis constantly? Money is probably one of those things that comes up a lot for you. It does for me, and it does for most people. Family stuff, relationship stuff always is one of the main things that comes up. So things like that, just pay attention to it and then think about what are those thoughts, and then use techniques like meditation or the elastic band technique to remove or reduce the amount of negative thoughts you have, and then move forward into kind of replacing them with other thoughts, or perhaps just having a quiet mind, just having a a mind where you're not running around crazily like a monkey and going from thought to thought, which is obviously the perfect ideal solution to our crazy monkey mind. But that'll come later, years, eons later. Who knows if it'll ever come in this lifetime. It hasn't yet for me. I have moments of quiet stillness in my mind, but they are very few and far between. In any case, this is the basic gist of it. There's a lot more to it, obviously, but I just wanted to share the basics of it in this video. And of course, if you guys like this kind of stuff, obviously let me know and I'll do further videos on it, because I love talking about this stuff. But I don't know if everyone's interested in it as much as I am. All right? Okay, perfect. Again, if you have questions, comment below. And of course, if you guys want to support me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon link. It's in the description below. Or my Ko-fi link, again, in the description below. I shall see you guys the next time around. Bye for now.